Welcome back. In our last lesson, we talked about the first category of numbers, which is integers. Whole numbers like 10, like 15, 20, or even negative whole numbers like -5, -10, and so on. In this lesson, we are going a step further to look at numbers with decimal points, otherwise known as floats. Floats are essential for many everyday scenarios like working with prices or measurement where accuracy down to the decimal part matters. Let's consider how floats work in Python. Imagine buying something that costs $4.99. Unlike whole numbers, floats allow us to represent those fractional parts of the price by using decimal points. So in Python programming, floats are simply numbers that include a decimal point. That is their distinct difference from integers. Integers does not have decimal points, but floats have decimal points. Floats are numbers like 4.5, 6.2, or -0.25, -0.45. We use floats whenever we need precision beyond whole numbers. Let's create a few float variables. So we'll get rid of this. Right. Just like with integers, we declare a variable and assign a decimal number to it. So we can say price is equal to, let's say our price is $4.99. So this now is a typical example of a float. If you hover price now, you are going to see that the data type in front of price is float. We still get to type annotation in the course of the bootcamp. If you get rid of the decimal part now and you hover over price, you are going to see now that price is now integer. It is no longer float. So floats are numbers with decimal points. We can also have another variable. Let's call it height. Okay, so we can say height is 5 points, let's say 5. So that can be in meters, that can be in miles, in centimeters, or whatever unit you are using. In this example, we have price set to 4.99 and we have height set to 5.5. Both of these variables are floats because they have a decimal point. Now that we have two different categories of numbers in Python, integers and floats, the question now arises: when do we choose to use floats over integers, and when do we use integers over floats? The answer is pretty straightforward. Use floats when you need precision beyond whole numbers. This includes anything that involves measurements like prices or calculations that naturally require decimals. For instance, if you are tracking your jogging distance in miles or in kilometers, you might need a float to represent something like 3.2 miles, 4.5 kilometers, and something like that. So let's see how arithmetic operations work with floats. They work the same way as with integers, but keep in mind that anytime a float is involved in a mathematical operation, the result will always be float. For example, let's say we have, we can say print, let's print 2 plus, it is going to be plus, so let's say 0.5. All right, if we run this now, so we have the answer to be 2.5. All right, we can also do subtraction. Let's say 5.0 minus, let's say 2.5. Okay, if we run this now, so we have 2.5 as our answer. We can also multiply them. Let's say 5.0 multiplied by 2.5. If we run this now, so we have 12.5 as our answer. If we also divide this and run it, so we have 2.0 as our answer. As you can see, any calculation involving floats always keeps the decimal part in the answer, unlike integers that it is only the division operation that returns floats. This gives us the flexibility to work with numbers that need precision. Alright, there is a common challenge when working with floats. Computers store decimal numbers in a way that is slightly imprecise, so you may occasionally see tiny rounding errors. Let's have an example. So let's get rid of this. Let's say we have a variable with the name of result, and we are saying result is 0.1 plus let's say 0.2. Okay, so if we print results now, we print results, let's see what we have. So you can see that result now is 0.3000000004 rather than just having exactly 0.3. To handle errors like this, we can round our numbers if exact precision is important. So to round up this number now, so we can call this, let's call this operation. Let's call this operation. So we are going to have results to be equal to, so we are going to use the round function. The round function is used to round numbers. So anytime you need information about a particular function, all you need to do is you hover over the function and then you are going to have details about that function. So you can see the details about the round function. It rounds the number to a given precision in decimal digits. The return value is an integer if n digits is omitted or none. Otherwise, the return value has the same type as the number. So I'm going to explain that for us. So the round function, it accepts two arguments, the numbers and n digits. So the number is what you want to round. So what we want to round up now is operation, and n digit is the number of decimal points that you want your result to be in. If you do not provide any number of decimal points, then your result is going to be integer. So we are printing result at this level. We print this now, so you have 0. So it has rounded it down to integer. But let's say we want our result to be a number with a single decimal place. So let's say we provide 1 as our number of decimal places. So we have 0.3, right? If you say 2, your result is going to return a number with 2 decimal digits. But because our value is 0.30000, the last 0 after a number in decimal point is not significant. That's why we have 0.3. If our number now is, let's say our number is 0.45, so we are going to have 0.45. We are not going to have a single digit. If we pass 1 as our n digit now, so we are going to have a single decimal number. All right. So that is how round function works. Okay, so we are rounding our operation now. We are rounding it to 2 decimal place. Okay, so we have 0.3 because the 0 after 3 is not significant. To wrap this lesson up, remember that floats are used for precise values involving decimals. Choose them when whole numbers won't do the job, especially for measurements or prices. And watch out for those small rounding issues. Using functions like round can make your output cleaner and easier to work with. In our next lesson, we'll explore more about working with numbers and more ways to manipulate numbers by using arithmetic operators. I will see you in the next lesson.